And hit record. There we are. Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Jeff. It's Thursday night, November 13th, 2025, and I'm coming to you guys from Ocala, Florida. We've had some cold weather, believe it or not. We were down in the 20s a couple of nights ago. I was up in North Carolina doing a live event, and my wife had to actually go out and cover some of our plants. So it did get cold. It's warmed up today. It was 80 again today, so it never lasts long. So tonight I am going to, let's go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. Um, so tonight I'm going to talk about stress, and my job tonight is I am trying to do this overview. I'm going to keep it around 30 minutes. It's being recorded so people can use it as an asset to send to somebody that might not want to sit down and hear me talk for an hour, which I can easily do. I can go way longer than that if need be, but I'm going to try to keep it at 30 minutes. So let's get started. Let's talk about the stress epidemic. It's even getting worse. The holidays are coming up. Who gets stressed at the holidays? Put me in the chat box if you get stressed at the holidays. I know I do. We already were thinking about putting up all the Christmas decorations and who's going to host Christmas and all the stuff that goes along with celebrating Christmas here in the U.S. So I want to talk about how to actually reduce stress, not like with self-care, not with like a massage or like somebody going to get a mani-pedi or a facial. I'm talking about reducing stress at the root cause of cellular care without breaking the banks and without taking a whole bunch of supplements. So this is me, Dr. Jeff Piccirillo. I am a MC1 with LifeVantage. I've been in the company about 18 months. Absolutely love where I am. The middle picture is me on the white couch. That's my goal. I'm working hard to get there. I was selected to be on the scientific advisory board about 3 months ago with 9 other amazing physicians from around the world. We've got chiropractors, we've got naturopaths, we have doctors from New Zealand, from Mexico, from Hawaii. Really a well-rounded group. I absolutely love working with them, and I find out what's coming up for everybody, but I can't tell you about it. So the stress epidemic. The world's more stressed now than it ever has been. If you know me long enough, you know that the two things I love are years. I'm going to talk about 1975, 2025, and statistics. So we're going to get a lot of that tonight. Before I get started, I have to throw up the disclosure statement. I'm going to talk about some products. The products are not evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate any diseases. And then at the end, I'm going to talk about money, maybe more important than the health side of it, because there are people suffering. There's people suffering with Christmas coming up. I belong to a charity, and right now we're getting bikes. We're pulling new bikes together to give to kids in our community. We're gonna probably have about 100 bicycles that we're gonna give away. So people are stressing over the holidays. So if you work it as a part-time job, you can make part-time money. If you work it as a full-time job, you can make full-time money. So all the legal stuff is out of the way. So let's be super transparent and talk about stress. I am going to be completely honest. I want to shift your paradigm about disease and the root cause of disease, because the root cause of nearly all major health problems is one simple thing, and that's cellular health, and that's oxidative stress. And I'm going to tell you how we can change that with just an investment of $2 a day. Much less than what it costs to get a cup of coffee. I was pulling out of my favorite coffee place called Iliano's. My cup of coffee was $7.04. Probably does more harm than it does good, but I love a good cup of coffee. So let's talk about stress. What kind of stresses are we suffering? What do we get every day? We get financial and career stress. A lot of times the money runs out before the month does. We have social media and global stress. We have technology stress. Who's addicted to their cell phone? I'll admit I am. There's no doubt about it. I could not function without the cell phone. And then there's health and diet stress. So, like I said, I promised you, 1975. Look at that nice family. Probably some walls in that house that are wood paneled. They got a floral print carpet on the floor. They're reading out of a catalog. Dad's getting his news from the newspaper. A good 1975 family. That could have been my family. 1975, I was 13 years old. So I was a little older than that little girl in the picture. 2025, different story. 2025, we're looking at a guy, obviously dark out, still at work, probably 8, 9 o'clock at night, still working at his computer, not home with his family, probably doesn't have dinner with his family every night. Family probably doesn't sit at the same table and have dinner anyway. It's not part of our life anymore. So let's look at nutrition. Home cooked meals, 1970, fewer additives. Almost all of the food that was consumed in your household was probably raised or grown within 100 miles of your home. Not anymore. Now, 67%, first statistic of the night, 67% of the American diet is ultra high processed food. It leads to oxidative stress, which leads to hormone disruption, which leads to obesity, which leads to inflammation, which leads to more oxidative stress. The vicious cycle, and we can never get off that merry-go-round unless we use some of the LifeVantage
Dr.
product.
Jeff, we cannot see
Excuse
your
me.
screen. You didn't share your screen.
I did. Uh-oh.
All we see is you.
Somebody's. Um, how's that?
Almost. There you go.
All right. Technology stress. First cell phones, 1973, mainstream by 1990 or 1983. Now it's constant. We don't go anywhere without a cell phone. You leave your cell phone at home, you turn around, go back, pick it up before you go back out. Who's had the phantom vibration? Cell phone's in your pocket. You think you felt it vibrate. You look at it and there's no call there. You know, I was at a restaurant a couple nights ago, North Carolina, and I looked at the table next to us. There was about 6 people at the table. They were all carrying on conversations with somebody else on their cell phone. Nobody at the table was talking, and it just reminded me of how bad it is right now. Social media stress. Social media stress is also a problem. We had Facebook in 2004, Instagram in 2010, TikTok in 2016. We have that pressure to post every day, to fit in, to respond to somebody else's post. Kids have FOMO, the fear of missing out. They're on their Facebook or Instagram all the time. That leads to things like cyberbullying and body image issues. So social media stress is a thing that wasn't a thing when I was 13 in 1975, 50 years ago, 1975. Work and financial stress. Back then, usually dad went to work, mom stayed at home with the kids, mom cooked dinner every night. There was a good, well balanced dinner on the table, wasn't frozen food, wasn't packaged food, wasn't ultra high processed food. Now, 57% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Most households are at least dual income, and a lot of them have 3 incomes. There's mom and dad are both working outside the home, and then one of them's picking up some type of a gig, whether it's driving Uber, delivering pizza, selling stuff on Etsy. It's happening because the money runs out before the days of the month run out. Global events and global uncertainty. You know, everything's immediate now. Something happens in the world, we know it within seconds of it happening. There's pandemics. We all know COVID and what happened with that. There's wars, there's inflation, political divide in our country, political divide in the Middle East. We're getting involved in that. So that's all stress on our body. More statistics. If we look at the numbers, 33% of Americans say they feel extreme stress. 77% say it impacts their health. 90% of all doctors' visits are stress related problems. 31% say it's the biggest health concern in their lives. And 83% of American workers say they suffer from work related stress. So, when this stress becomes chronic, it attacks every part of our body. And it's not outside attacking, it is at the cellular level. And if our cells are attacked, then what happens? Well, they start to age and they start to die off prematurely. Or they'll mutate, they'll get mutations in their DNA. Well, what does that do? Well, that causes disease. And there are 220 known diseases that are associated with this cellular stress, what we like to refer to as oxidative stress. Diabetes, neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and even some cancers. I always like to say if we can have healthy cells lead to healthy tissues. Healthy tissues lead to healthy organs, and then healthy organs lead to a healthy body. So it all starts at the cellular level. If you don't deal with it at the cellular level, it's never going to happen. And that's the problem with our healthcare system. It's not a healthcare system, it is a sick care system. You go to your doctor when you're sick, you get a prescription to help the symptoms of your sickness, but he never says, hey, this is what you can do to be more healthy. That never comes out of their mouth anymore. Unless you're seeing a good functional medicine doctor, it's about 1% of the doctors in the country. So if you go to PubMed, which is where all the medical research is published, every article that's ever published in a journal or a magazine is on PubMed. And so if you go in PubMed, you go in the search bar and you type in oxidative stress, well, what happens? Well, it shows you almost 375,000 articles. So you can break this up. You can put oxidative stress, comma, and then whatever disease, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, and it's going to give you every article ever published about oxidative stress. And the interesting thing is, if you put oxidative stress, comma, protandem, you're going to get 32 studies that actually used our product, our NRF2 activator, in a medical study. So we're not just testing the ingredients, which is what a lot of companies do. We are testing the whole product. So what does this stress lead to? Here's a whole list. I'm not going to read through it, but brain disorders, bipolar, um, depression, MS, ALS, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, heart disease, kidney disease, joint disease like arthritis, lung disease, problems with your eyes, uh, immune system, chronic inflammation, autoimmune disease, all are things that are related to oxidative stress. Now, I know we all have our methods to reduce stress. We talked about massage and mani pedis, and I have a buddy who his morning routine every day, and he's been doing this for I've known him for about 10 years. He's been doing this every morning for 10 years. He gets up and he gets in his sauna at 180 degrees, positive 180 degrees. Very, very hot sauna. He stays in it about 15 or 20 minutes. He gets out and he goes right next to the next machine and he goes into his cold machine, his cryo machine, and he goes down to minus 220 for 3 minutes. So if you do the math real quick, that's a 400-degree temperature change within 3 minutes of time. And that's his way that he puts his body under stress. And he thinks it helps him live longer because the people that do that, the people that use saunas or the people that live at altitude, they have the biggest longevity. So that's his way of dealing with stress. If you have a way that you like to deal with stress, maybe it's a cold plunge, maybe it's weekly massage or monthly massage, go ahead and put that in the chat box. But what I want to talk to you today is I want to flip your paradigm and I want to talk about not self-care, but cellular care. And this cellular care that I want to talk about is $2 a day. And it started as a different story. It started in that building, actually, probably not that building because we were in a different headquarters, but it started at the LifeVantage headquarters and it started there in 2005. And it started as a result of something called the Human Genome Project. The Human Genome Project was a project that started in 1997. From 1997 to 2005, they mapped out the entire human genome and they looked at something called nutrigenomics, how nutrition can affect your genetic pathways. LifeVantage, unlike most other network marketing companies, we didn't just discover a product, find a product that we could throw a couple ingredients together, say it's a health and wellness product, and then throw it out in the market. And that's not what we did. Matter of fact, we weren't even network marketing direct sales in the beginning. 2005, what we did is we went to one of the top researchers in the world, a guy that dedicated his entire life to a molecule called superoxide dismutase and how that controls oxidative stress in our body. And when he came out with his results and he helped us manufacture and invent Protandem NRF2, the company had $200 million in sales immediately overnight because it was the single greatest cell care discovery ever made. Well, ABC News primetime special report wanted to prove it wrong. They wanted to say that this was snake oil and it didn't work. So they got one of their top reporters. They got John Keonis, who is still with ABC News now. He does that show, What Would You Do? And they sent him to Dr. Joe McCord. They put him on the product. They sent him to his own doctor to get lab testing done. He was on the product for 90 days. And lo and behold, he felt better. He thought he looked better. His labs got better. His own private doctor said that everything looked better. So it wasn't a hit piece. It ended up being a promising piece. But there was a problem. What wasn't around in 2005? YouTube. So if you watched the show in 2005, you knew about Protandim NRF2. If you didn't see the show, you'd never hear about it. You'd walk into Walgreens, you'd walk into CVS, it would be on the shelf, and you had no idea what it was, unless maybe you read it in the National Enquirer. But what it showed is that it lowered oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, 70% in 90 days. It means that it decreased your risk of all those diseases that I mentioned earlier that are triggered by oxidative stress. Well, this piqued the interest of major universities and medical centers like Duke and Texas Tech and Texas A&M, Harvard, all over the globe. People started looking at our products and wanting to investigate it. It was proven, and you can say this, it was proven in a study to increase longevity by 7%. People will say to me, well, 7%, that doesn't sound like much. Well, if you live to 70, 7% of 70 is 4.9 years. It means you're going to live an extra 5 years. If you want to live an extra 5 years, go ahead and put the number 2 in the chat box. I know I do. Or if you live to 80, 7% of 80 is 5.6 years. So that's almost 6 years of more longevity. It's important. And that's an issue now in our society. Back when my parents, so 1975, I was 13. Back when my parents were aging, what happened was you were born, you got to age 20, and then for the next 50 years, you aged, but it wasn't until the end of life that you got a disease. At the end of your life, maybe the last year or 2 years of your life, you got cancer, or you had a massive heart attack, or maybe you got dementia, but you lived a good 50 years before that happened. That was your lifespan. Now, what happens is lifespan and health span are different. Back then, they were equal. Now, 20s, you go through your 30s, your 40s. By the time you hit 50, you get a disease. And then for the next 20 to 30 years, you suffer with that disease, you dwindle down, and then finally it takes you and it's your cause of your mortality. So there's a 20 to 30 years discrepancy between lifespan and health span. That's a problem. So let's look at our product line. That's our entire lineup without P84 on the end. I need to change my slide and change that graphic, but it's everything other than P84. We do have some supplements. We have some of our daily essentials. We have vitamin D. Supplements do exactly what they say. They supplement the intake. They supplement what we get from our food. Then we have our activators. Activators are different. They're little building blocks that activate those genetic pathways, what we like to refer to as nutrigenomics. We have heart products. We have eye products. We have our activator for collagen, liquid collagen. We go down to the end. We have our weight loss product, Mind Body. We even have a canine product for our pets. And where I live in Ocala, horse country, they're giving it to a lot of the thoroughbreds down here. So what does it look like on a timeline? 2005, we said Protandim NRF2 came out. It wasn't until 4 years later in 2009 that the company became network marketing. Because remember I said it was on the ABC News primetime special report, but unless you saw it that Tuesday night in November of 2005, you didn't see it. You couldn't go on YouTube and watch it. So there wasn't a story. But now there's a story. And so I have a story. Bob Kane has a story. Michelle has a story. We all have stories. And that's what network marketing is about. You tell your story to your friends in a room, on a Zoom, and then they get interested in hearing your story. I'll tell my story in about 5 or 6 more slides. 2016, Protandim NRF1, our mitochondrial support, increases the powerhouse inside of our cells that makes cellular energy, something called ATP. So it's great for things like fatigue. It's great for things like heart disease. My second favorite product that the company has is Protandim NAD. NAD is the mobilizer of stem cells. It takes stem cells from our bone marrow, puts them in the peripheral circulation for healing. Very important in healing, very important in brain health. Liquid collagen, the product that I thought when I joined in July of 2024, I thought was a beauty product. My wife started taking it right away for fine lines and wrinkles, sun damage. I balked at first. Then my wife said, if you really want to be as big as you say you want to be in LifeVantage, you need to take it all. You need to take all of it. You need to take, and I said, I don't care if I look better. I'm 61 years old, 63 now. I don't really care about liquid collagen, but I started taking it. 2 months later, my joint pain was gone. So remember, collagen is everywhere. It's in our blood vessels, it's in our eyes, it's in our heart, it is in our skin for fine lines and wrinkles. But it's also the articular cartilage in our joints is almost all type 1 collagen. So it helped my knee collagen, not so much my beauty collagen. And then Protandim, or then MindBody GLP-1, the Enhance and the Core came out in October of 2024, which has become my favorite product. And if you know my story, since it came out in October of 2024, I'm down now a total of 110 pounds. So that has become kind of my favorite product because what it did for me, I've battled my weight my entire life, and this has really changed the paradigm on how weight loss works. So the bare minimum, if all you want to do is extend your longevity, make sure that your health span and your lifespan are equal, Protandim NRF2, most scientifically validated anti-aging product in the world, reduces oxidative stress up to 70%, increases glutathione levels, one of the master antioxidants, by 300% in just 30 days. It's the no bargain. It's $2 a day. Everyone in the world should be on it. It should be in our water supply. We shouldn't even have to worry about taking it. The government should just put it in the water and let us drink it every day. So, but maybe you want to go a step further. Then maybe you want to do what's called our dual synergizer. It's going to lower oxidative stress and it's going to rebuild our mitochondria. So more energy, more cellular energy, decreased aging, increased longevity. Maybe you're more worried about beauty. Maybe you have a little vanity streak, or maybe you're having that joint pain. So maybe the combination you want to do is Protandim plus liquid collagen. We know that it activates, working together, they activate each other. So not just the 100% increase in type 1 collagen in 8 weeks, not just the longevity of 7%, they work together and elevate more pathways, 40 additional pathways when you take the two together. Or maybe your issue is weight. What is the weight issue in the United States right now? That weight issue is 42% of Americans are obese. 82% are battling their weight and are trying to lose weight. We have 5 states that are above 49% obesity. The most obese state in the United States, West Virginia, probably at 50%. At the beginning of the year, they were at 49.8%. So they're probably the first state to hit a 50% obesity rate. What is that doing to our longevity? What is that doing to the discrepancy between our health span and our lifespan? We know what it's doing. It's decreasing that. People are dying younger because of the secondary effects, the hypertension and the stroke and the heart attacks that are associated with obesity. And then our new product, P84, just announced a couple weeks ago at Market Connect in Dallas. It is the activator for our gut. It makes gut peptides. As a matter of fact, the study was released by LifeVantage today, where they looked at what these peptides are that are being upregulated by the P84. It is the ultimate in gut health. Do you realize that the gut is the second brain? I didn't realize this till I started. Of course, you know me. I mean, if you've been on any of my calls, you know that I'm going to take a deep dive into all these products. I did not realize that serotonin, the feel-good hormone, the hormone that is downregulated in people that have depression, 90% of serotonin isn't made in the brain where you think it would be. 90% of serotonin is made in the gut. And so if you have bad gut health, if you have gut inflammation, you're more likely to be depressed. How crazy is that? So you could actually take this product and depression goes away. I've talked to a bunch of the Life Biome or Love Biome people that are now LifeVantage people. I had two of them on my call last week, if you were on my call, and they were telling me things like libido got better, hormones got better, digestion got better. It's a pretty amazing product. I just started it. And I'm noticing more weight loss. I kind of had plateaued around 100, 105 pounds. Since I started the P84, things are starting to come off again. I think because my gut was inflamed, so my L cells couldn't make the GLP-1, and so this is kickstarting it back up again. Here are some of the ingredients: 84 total ingredients that are microbiome friendly, so they're friendly to the lining of the gut, friendly to the bacteria that we need in our gut. It's a powerful blend of whole food phytonutrients from every color. There's red fruits and vegetables. There's green, there's the yellows, there's the orange, the purples. They're all in there. Super fruits and superfruits. There's acai berry, probably one of the greatest super fruits that are out there. There's probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. So they're really building up that bacterial lining, that good bacteria in your gut. And there's all the digestive enzymes to digest every part of what you're bringing into your system. So, like I said, the human gut is the second brain. It's an essential player and it orchestrates the communication of all your body systems, your endocrine system with your hormone. We talked about the brain health and depression, digestion. It all starts in your gut. There's a connection between your gut and your brain called the vagus nerve. And if that vagus nerve isn't working right, your whole body is off. Now, we all know if we have some indigestion or we have constipation or diarrhea, we just feel awful the whole day. I mean, if your gut is messed up, your whole mood changes. It leads to lack of energy. It leads to skin problems, mood swings, brain fog, gas, bloating. It all comes from our guts being out of line. So I think this is quickly becoming one of my favorite products. And when I talk to the people from Love Biome, my good guy's become my good friend. He actually friended me before the Dallas event, and then we met down there and found out that his first and middle name is James Vincent, which was my dad's first and middle name. And then my brother is Vincent James, and then his son is James Vincent, and it goes back 6 decades. So he's kind of my brother from another mother, and we didn't even realize it. But he talks about this. He talks about the 3 steps. It regulates. So it regulates the peptides, it regulates digestion, it regulates nutrient absorption, and then it repairs. It repairs that gut lining, it calms the inflammation in our gut that we get from everyday stressors, from the ultra high processed food, from the microplastics in the water bottles that we use. Any of the toxins that we bring in, heavy metals that we might ingest. There's a lot of aluminum in something that I actually love, potato skins, just packed with aluminum. Aluminum's horrible for our brain. They see aluminum plaques in brains with Alzheimer's. So we must stay away from aluminum. And then it restores that beneficial bacteria and restoring calm and balance. And the thing I like to use, and we have a new healthy edge stack, and this explains the story I like to tell is you're driving down the road and somebody throws a cigarette out. Yeah, there are still people that smoke. We know it. Hopefully, there's none on this call. Somebody throws a cigarette out the window. Haven't had rain in a while. Your front lawn of your house catches on fire. Now, obviously, you're not going to go out and throw grass seed on the burning front lawn to try to get your grass to regrow. You're going to put out the fire first. Protandem NRF2 is going to put out the fire, that oxidative stress fire. And then we're going to bring in the P84, and that's going to start nourishing. It's going to nourish the gut. It's going to reflourish the bacteria. That's going to be your fertilizer and your grass seed to help that lawn regrow. You're never just going to throw the grass seed and the fertilizer on your burning front lawn. You want to put that fire out first. And that's why I think this Healthy Edge Stack is an amazing product. I'm taking it. I think we should get all our family and friends on it, especially over the holidays. Whose guts get torn up over the holiday? We eat stuff that we never should eat. We probably drink more than we should drink. It's a bad season for gut health. And so I think this Healthy Edge Stack is going to change that around. So this is a little bit about the products. And this is, I said, I'm going to try to keep it brief. But with all the statistics that I gave you, that 42% of Americans are obese, and we have this problem with oxidative stress, and we can upregulate that with Protandim. This statistic bothers me more. 57% of American households are living paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? It means that if one of the parents, if mom or dad, happen to lose their job, we are 90 days from bankruptcy. That's what that means. It means in 90 days, they're going to be coming to repossess your house. They're going to be coming to repossess your car. You're going to get behind in your bills. It's a problem. It's a huge problem in America. Even a bigger problem. 76% of Americans say because of work, they do not have enough free time to spend with their family. We saw the picture of the guy in one of my first slides working at his desk at 9 o'clock at night. Families don't eat together anymore. I remember growing up that we would all sit down at a family table for dinner. Even my brother, who was out of the house, living alone, living at his own home by himself, he would come from work. He owns his own service station. Would come from work and come and sit at the family table at dinner time. 6 o'clock at night was our family dinner time, and he would come and join us. Um, it was an important thing to my parents and to our family to do that. It doesn't happen anymore. Matter of fact, we would all join hands and pray over dinner, before dinner. How many times does that happen now? Almost never. Families don't go on vacation together. Sometimes the kids and mom will go away, but dad has to stay behind because he has to work and make money. Who is LifeVantage? LifeVantage is a debt-free, financially transparent company. It's been around for 20 years. Remember, the first product, Protandim NRF2, came out in 2005. So they have 20 years of manufacturing experience and have sold over $2 billion worth of products over the last 20 years. Publicly traded on NASDAQ. What does that mean? It means it's important because it can't close tomorrow. Somebody, the owner of the company, can't go in and say, I'm not making enough money. We're closing tomorrow. That just happened with a couple big network marketing companies. We brought people into our company because of that, because all of a sudden they couldn't get a hold of customer service, and then they didn't get their check the next day. They found out that the company just locked the doors and put a sign on the door that we're closed. Can't happen with a publicly traded company. We have a board of directors that we have to talk to. And then Entrepreneur Magazine said it is the stock to buy in the healthcare and wellness sector. If you know me well enough, you know I love to talk about trends. So let's talk about these ones, some of the health trends. Number one selling drug in the United States right now, semaglutide, which is Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy. In 2023, $38 billion. 2024, $43 billion. By 2031, it's going to be a $138 billion industry. It's growing. Health and wellness is growing. We talked about obesity. America is growing, and not in a good way. By 2030, nearly half of Americans will be obese. We'll have 29 of the 50 states with a 50% obesity rate. Big problem. What else, though? Trends. Let's talk trends about health and wellness. More people are trying to feel good. More people are looking at the wellness industry. $1.5 trillion last year. Big industry. And direct sales network marketing, it's growing. If you do it full time, the average income is about $82,000 a year. It's about $40 an hour if you work a 40-hour week. Here's what I want to do is I want to lock arms with people on this call. I want to lock arms with family, family, new friends. And what I want to do is I want to move forward changing your health, Protandim NRF2, your time, working for yourself so you don't have to go into a 40-hour job. You can do it in between times. You can spend time with your family and then make more money rather than exchange hours for dollars. Have your own business, work your own business, work it as long and as hard as you want to do. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm spending more time. I'll break for a quick story. My quick story is when I joined, I did not want to start another business. I had 3 businesses and I wanted to stay with that. And I decided to join because of the Mind Body product. And now I'm doing more work than I ever have because I'm putting 40, 50 hours into this because I'm trying to build this business. So what does it mean to build this business? It means that you want to build and grow a team. Maybe all you want to do, maybe there's people on this call and all they want to do is buy the product. That's great. Take care of your health, and then you can take care of your family. Absolutely important. But maybe you want to build a team. So if you go diamond, which means you have 20 to 25 customers, you're going to make about an extra $1,200 a year or a month. If you help 5 of your people go diamond, help them build their team, you're going to make about $3,200 a month. And then if you help 5 of them, each of them build 5 diamonds on their team, now you're making about $1,320 a month. That's passive profit. That's passive income. That's what network marketing is all about. Because you don't just make money when you sell it. Like if you drive Uber, you drive somebody Uber, you made money for that Uber ride. But if that person gets in an Uber tomorrow and it's not your Uber, they don't pay you again. They don't pay you because, oh, Bob got introduced to Uber by Anthony, so we're going to still pay Anthony. Every time Bob rides in an Uber, Anthony's going to get paid. It doesn't work that way. This works that way. So if you sign somebody up and they buy today and they buy the 1st of December and they buy the 1st of January, and Rachel Picard's been in this business 10 years. She has people that have been buying Pro Tandem NRF2 every month for 10 years. That's passive profit. So our mission is to change the world around us with love, health, and entrepreneurship. We want to lock arms with people to build their business, and you don't have to build it from scratch. There's no costly overhead. My first network marketing company was a company called Monavie, and we had cases of juice, and I had a garage full of cases of juice because we gave it out as samples and we shipped it to friends, and no shipping, no costly overhead, no storing products in your garage, no overwhelming tech. Um, as a team, Team Heart, we've successfully produced over $200 million in revenue. We've paid over $100 million in team commissions. We have 6 and 7-figure earners that are willing to lock arms with you and help you build this team. So if you're brand new, if this is the first time you've heard anyone talk about LifeVantage, go ahead and put the number 4 in the chat box so I know who you are, so I can reach out to you maybe tomorrow and help talk you through it, find out who invited you to this call. Maybe it was me. We also started our own secret sauce, our own system online to help you launch. We have a program called 30 Days to 1K. We're going to work with you to make your first $1,000 in that first month. Because people that do that end up staying with the business. We have DFI funnels. We have our own assistant chatbot that will help you write Facebook posts or help you write emails. We have some social media swipe files that you can just copy and paste into your social media. It's all done for you. What does that cost? It costs $49 for a year. I pay more than that per month for another service that I work with. So how far can you go in this company? There's some numbers that really interest you. You can start off, maybe you're only making about $27 a month. Maybe, you work up through the consultant level and you get to senior consultant 1, where you're making about $300 a month. What's $300 a month? Maybe it's your electric bill. Maybe it's a used car that you bought for your kids. It's a used car payment. Maybe it's putting gas in the car. Maybe it's better than that. Maybe it's saving $300 a month over a year. You save $3,600, $4,000. You can take your family on vacation. But maybe you work up through the managing consultant levels. Maybe you make it up to managing consultant 3, an extra almost $7,000 a month. That's a mortgage and a car payment all wrapped into one. Maybe it's 2 car payments. Maybe it's 2 car payments and saving money for a family vacation, paying off some debt, paying off student loans. Maybe you want to get up to the executive level. Look what happens when you go from managing consultant 3 to executive consultant 1. Double. 7,000 to almost 15,000. Because then the company starts sharing its overall profit with the people that make it to the executive levels. So now you're making 15,000 a month. I know doctors that don't make 15,000 a month, believe it or not. An office visit for most doctors today is about $42 per visit. They struggle. They struggle. They don't make their first dollar that goes in their own pocket until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything up until 3 o'clock pays their overhead. Who can do this? Here are some people that are on Team Heart. Lachelle's probably on this call because she never misses a call. She's just a mom, busy mom that works from home. Eric and Christian Richards made it up to executive consultant 2s. We got a lot of people that are just busy moms and dads that want to work for themselves. We have some fitness and wellness professionals. Jesse and Erica used to own their own gym. We have Brian, one of our leaders over in Europe, that are in the fitness and wellness field. We have doctors. Dr. Gale, a good friend of mine over in New Zealand, on the scientific advisory board with me. Me there in the middle. Michelle, I know, is on the call tonight. We have a lot of people that are building teams. Our vision over the next 10 years to help 1 million people achieve better cellular care, decrease the stress, decrease the oxidative stress in their life, and then help 1,000 families become debt free, moving families forward, moving time forward, moving money forward. That is our goal. And you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be willing. You just need to be willing to lock arms with people and move forward with this company. So this is your first time. Welcome to Team Heart. Welcome to LifeVantage. This is what I have tonight. I think I went over by about 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I tried to get it under 35. People know I like to talk. This is the wrap of the call. Thank you, everybody. I hope there's some suggestions for next week. If not, we're going to be here 8:30 next Thursday night, and I'll have something exciting for you. Have a great night, great weekend. Love you all. This call's a wrap. Bye-bye.